I would not, but again, I would not. It's not a same T-shirt fits all.
That's a
Exactly.
good
Right,
point.
so it's a right strategy for me, probably for both parents working. If you find the right amount of the right nature of guidance for your child, in which you feel he'll be or he or she will be able to get the right values, he or she will be able to really progress, then yeah, go ahead, like it's great, right? But some parents, I also know of some kids who are homeschooled,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
right? So
That's trending quite
that's
a lot lately.
that's the entire range. You
Right.
can do you can be anywhere in that range, and it is okay.
So I want to know whether it was very difficult initially, whether you kind of protested to it.
Very, yeah. Every
So how do
Wednesday,
you know, where do you draw the line? So if, say for example, you apply the same strategy for your child, and the child is like, "Nahi, mala nahi jaisa. I don't want to go to this class. I'm really tired. I'm bored. Maza laksha nahi lagat," or whatever. So
Yeah.
where do you know to where and how long should you push? No, you have to go for how many days should you push? Like
मी
data.
हे केलं तुला कोण करायचं?
Can you use that argument? Does it
I
even work
don't think
these
I
days?
would. I don't think I would because I think when I protested, obviously, आता option नव्हतं.
Right.
Right, so even I, like my parents said, आता अरे काय करू, आता optionच नाही, जा क्लासला. But and then
Like
yeah,
say, I want to add this. Like you know, कि 21 days or say 30 days it takes around 30 days for a habit to form and really seep in. And
मला
output
3
it.
months पेक्षा जास्त लागले.
But yes, of course, there is another research that says it takes around a year. So can you throw this argument to your child and say, "Are you just stick it out right now for a month? एक महीना तो फक्त
I don't
practice कर,
think
नंतर you'll start enjoying." It
It's
won't
a
work,
very
right?
sharp. They will not work. It will not work.
Okay.
I'm guaranteeing you it will not work. We'll have to. So the good part, there's a good part and the bad part.
Yeah.
The bad part, sorry, I'll first talk about the good part. In our generation, like we were not mature enough, right? So we used to listen to our parents. Ki हाँ, अरे, this is good for you, and we used to just trust their judgment, right? Because again, generation gap, awareness नव्हता, you were not mature enough, and in general, guys mature very late, and that's true.
Yeah, that is true.
In our kids, the kind of social circles they are going, like my kid goes to a daycare where one of his friends is a Japanese kid.
Okay.
Then he, like all across India, multiple regional, like nationalities, not nationalities, multiple religions के kids पढ़े, right? So we were sort of exposed to that late in school, or we probably could understand that much later, right? I think you can relate to it. We could understand multiple religions. अभी आपल्याला नहीं फरक पड़ा ऐसा, right? But now we retrospect कि अरे हाँ अरे religions होते हैं, क्या वेगवेगळे cultures होते हैं. No, let's not talk about religion. Cultures म्हणू.
Cultures what? Okay.
The good part is कि the current kids are being exposed to all of these multiple factors since a much smaller age. So my hypothesis is that they will mature faster than us.
Because the exposure is
Correct.
broader.
And see, the thing is, if you have repeated exposure of multiple factors, you will learn to adjust to it. That's
Right.
how humans are, right?
Yeah.
So, basis that, my hypothesis is that kids will understand stuff much earlier.
Yeah.
And then we would be in a better position to make them understand with the right logic, with the right narrative, ki why this is important for you.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I may not use that line ki मी करू शकलो तू का नाही करू
तू
शकलो.
पण करू शकला
And
पाहिजे.
probably I feel ki, and again, if nothing works, I might even use that line. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at
Okay,
least
so
my
you go along with your intuition. Intuition
Correct.
plays a big role.
Big
Did you
role.
say that?
Correct.
Okay, big role.
Correct.
How you are bringing the child up.
Correct.
And I would also like to know Darshana's views on like classes ला घालणं आणि coaching करणं आणि extra curricular मध्ये development करणं. So what kind of approach do you have? Like your son is now 5 years old.
3 years.
3 years old. Sorry, 3 years old. And so is he going to some classes at this age?
He's not even going to school.
Actually, he's not going to school
I don't
because
think
there are
kids
some.
can go to school right now.
Huh?
The rule है, I think.
Acha, yeah, the new rule is saying that. So only daycare probably when
No,
you're.
he stays with his Aji Azuba.
Oh, that's great. That's even good.
And like he has a ball right now. He wakes up at any time that he wishes to, and I let him do things as per his own way. If he
Yeah.
wants to eat, it is his call. जितना खाना है उतना खाना. त्याला त्याच्या हाताने जेवायचं असेल तर त्याच्या हाताने जेवेल. जर का त्याला भरवायचं असेल तर मग मी भरवून देईल. You know, we are all considering our children as projects.
Yeah, I can.
म्हणजे this is
agree
my
with
project
that.
and it has to be good. कारण की we have been brought up in a very competitive environment that you need to grade, you need to be the best. So we also pressurize our children that no, you have to do this best. Like I have a friend of mine and she's so much obsessed with the kid. She needs to eat at this time, she needs to eat this much at this time, and she has to go to school and she needs to do this. And I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
If my kid started talking at a very later age, like he was something around 1.5 years to 2 years and he started talking. But असं म्हणतात की मुली लवकर बोलायला लागतात, तर त्याच्यामुळे त्याच्यासोबत जितके लोक होते ते बोलायला लागले होते.
Okay.
And I was like की हा बोलेल तो जेव्हा बोलेल तेव्हा, but now he doesn't stop. So I totally believe one thing, that whatever he has to do, like if classes, माझ्या आईने मला असं आम्हाला तिघी बहिणींना सांगितलं होतं, तुम्हाला जे आवडतं ना ते करा. Like my sister used to go for a drawing class because she was very good at it and she loved doing it.
Yeah.
On the contrary, I was a very lazy person to open all those colors and then take the water and then paint with that patience and then again clean it up.
But you are
and
very
clean back.
passionate about dancing.
Yeah,
right?
I was passionate about dancing and my mother made it sure that I inculcate the value of dancing only.
Okay.
Along with it, I did a lot of things. Like I did theatre, I did dance, but I was a performer and I believe that I'm a performer and I never
You're made
missed a
for the
chance.
stage. You
Yeah.
always found your calling on the stage.
On the stage.
Somehow or another.
Exactly. So I never went into other things. My mother never said की नाही तू हे
You
पण
ought
कर,
to do
तू हे
this
पण.
and
हां.
not that. Nothing like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
आणि म्हणतात ना मुली थोड्याशा शांत राहतात घरी.
That's true. I still stand by it.
My mother was की हा एक क्लास करायचा, घरी यायचं, थांबायचं, मी येतेच आहे घरी.
Okay.
Like obviously my both parents were working, therefore we also had that thing that they have that responsibility. But as we were girls, we always tried to make it something special, that when my mother used to come home, she didn't have to worry about अच्छा आता जेवण बनवायचंय, अच्छा आता हे काम करायचं, because as daughters we were नाही आता आई आली ना की आपण हे आज हे बनवूयात, आज आपण ते बनवूयात, आज तिला हे सरप्राईज देऊयात. So that
Yeah.
automatically came and we kept ourselves busy.
Right. Oh, that brings me to a wonderful point, and that is the balance of roles across the sexes. And I think that even men are taking up responsibilities of women a lot more. And
True.
the awareness of that begins in childhood itself. Earlier, I remember, and even if we go to smaller towns in India, they would be like, oh, this is not my job. हे तर मुलीचं, ये तो लड़की का काम है, ये मेरा काम नहीं है. Whereas in tier 2 or tier 1 cities, the awareness is different now, it's shifting. And it begins in childhood. Oh, so what? Just because she's a girl and traditionally that is the role, doesn't mean that right now things can't be different. It has to be different. And we should teach our children to get to learn to cook, to wash, clean, and I think we are all doing that at some level. Like, of course, I have not started yet, but wherever I see my siblings who are a lot younger or my nieces, I tell them that, so what if you're a girl, so what if you're a guy? Just because you are different in gender or sex doesn't mean that you shouldn't do other things, and that will ensure that we have a lot more integrative society and we won't get stuck up on certain things. Going to the next topic, I think we can come back to the values inculcation and ethics and morality. Now that we have covered that we shouldn't be too pushy towards coaching children, in conclusion to previous point, we shouldn't be pushing too hard in academics and overall extracurricular activities also. Sometimes the child, and I was one of those, who used to be very passionate about something for 2 to 3 years, and then later on I used to be like, maybe this is not for me, something else. But then recently, just summing it up, of course, recently what I understood was that it's okay to be a jack of all and probably one day you'll be master of one. So it doesn't necessarily have to be jack of all, master of none. You could be jack of all, master of one. That's also a good way to go about it.
Right.
And
Even if you're
until-
jack of all, it's still good.
It's
you don't
also
need to
good.
be master.
Yeah, it's okay to not be a master. That's perfectly all right. So if you allow the child to shift his passions, his explorations in the childhood, that's a good approach to
Yeah,
have, right?
it's completely
It's not
fine.
going to make him a bad individual or a confused individual later on in life. He will find his calling, and there are ups and downs, as we all know, throughout lifetime. So coming back to, we can add a few points on the integration of values and ethics and morality, which begins in a very young age. There was a recent study, it's actually quite old, but it has surfaced again on the internet, and it talks about delay of gratification. And this study spanned for nearly 40 years. And what they studied was, they asked parents to be in a room, and they kept a piece of candy, and they called the child in the room, and they said that, oh, I just remembered I have to do something. Don't eat this piece of candy. I have to do a little thing with this, and then we will both have this candy, okay? But until I'm back, don't eat this candy. So I'm just gonna be out for a minute. I have some work to do. So the parent leaves, and once the parent is back, if the candy is gone, it means that the child is not able to delay gratification. And what they concluded, and they observed these children grow up till the age of 40, they concluded that those children who could delay gratification became a lot more successful. So, according to this study and the conclusion that it drew, how can we raise children in a way that we can discipline them in such a way that we don't end up hurting them? Because I hear that there are so many children who are in the age group of 3 to 5, including your children. Like the other day, I was having a conversation with Chinmay, and he said that his son has become so smart now that he knows that Ai Baba ni nahi dila, parents are not giving it to me, I'm going to go to my grandparents and ask for it. And grandparents are going to feel like, oh, are mera bacha, maza natu hai, mala to dela chawayala. So how can we ensure that they are not they're not pursuing something in the wrong way, you know? Like, how can we teach them self-control in a younger age? Do you have an answer to that question?
I think, like just one sentence to that. In order to